Over the last couple of months, I've been on 8 dates with the same type of woman. 25 to 31-year-old Korean women who are here to study English for 6 months. And I call them cougars because I'm 21. Now you might have just heard that and thought, what the fuck? You have the most weirdly, oddly specific fetish I've ever heard of in my life. But that's not the case. My last relationship that I ended off was at the beginning of the year with a surprise 25-year-old Korean woman. We ended things really well after a goodbye trip in Italy, which I made a YouTube video on. But soon after her, I met this other woman, this 28-year-old Korean girl. And she was gorgeous. She was a real head turner. And I went on 2 dates with this girl, and I thought they went really well. And we were talking and FaceTiming for a couple of weeks. And when the third date time came, instead of her just being honest with how she felt about me, she just kept leading me on. And that really, really pissed me off. Not because she led me on, but because she was a fucking loser. She was living in this super expensive condo that her parents were, of course, paying for. She did nothing but watch YouTube videos all day. But I'm not any better than her because I was just seeing her to fill the void in me. In Korea, hookup culture is not the norm at all. Korea is dating central. Women there don't find validation through hooking up with random men, but rather through getting a job at Samsung so their parents can brag about it. And being with a guy who was a couple years younger than you is already very taboo there. So a guy who's a decade below you is crazy. And I didn't want to date any of these women. I knew 10 minutes into meeting all of them, I just wanted to get in their sheets. And I could have just gone for a woman that wanted no strings attached hookups. But no, me? No, that's not enough for me. I need a challenge. If I'm younger than you and I'm hooking up with you, which is super against the grain of your culture, then I must be the fucking man. And the first girl rejecting me really pissed me off because at the time I was working super hard in my business. I'm going to the gym. I'm making a lot of money. I'm planning trips to 3 different continents. And here she is doing nothing and going nowhere. I need to believe in myself. I need to tell myself that I'm someone, that I'm worth more than a sum of my parts. And this woman is just an empty shell of a vessel to give me validation. And after her, it flipped something in me. Some deep-seated insecurity that was burying deep inside my heart. I couldn't just let that go. So I started seeking these women out. These 8 women that went on dates with me were just the one that said yes. There was another 12 that didn't agree to a date with me. Girl number 7 was the most into me. I took her to this rooftop. I took 4 other girls that month. And in talking to her, I was happy that she didn't understand English, because if she did, she would know that I already knew everything about her personality. You see, to me, all these girls are just about the same. They watch Korean vlogs on YouTube and romance movies on Netflix. They went to the same 3 spots in Toronto that they saw in some vlog on Naver. And at the end of this chapter of my life, I was fumbling girls because I started telling them things that no regular guy should know. They could tell my pattern recognition skills were a little too high. They could tell I've been min-maxing my Korean flirting skills. There was just one time I was flirting with this girl. I didn't even find her attractive. I was doing it for the love of the game. And she told me, I like traveling. And I was like, oh, let me guess. You went to Banff, Cancun, and Quebec City. Oh, and then on New Year's Eve, you want to go to New York City. And then you want to do a Europe trip with a Korean group to Switzerland, Croatia, and Italy. And she looked at me like I predicted 9/11, which she had lived through and I was not born yet. And she asked me how I knew that. And I just told her straight up because, I had no plans of doing anything with her. You're the 4th Korean girl in a row to tell me that. Girl number 4 was promising at first. She went to some fashion school in Daegu. I thought she was different from all the others because she had some personality to her, but that personality went ankle deep. It was very shallow. Maybe, I don't know, I'm a younger person, so I haven't really had life quite kick the shit out of me yet, but I find that older people, a lot of them, they have the spark in their eyes gone. The deep passion for life they might have once had is long faded away. Most of these girls, they come here as an excuse. They need a year to figure themselves out, but they can't do that in Korea. That'd be social suicide. So they come here where they do a language school program where you pass no matter what the fuck you do, no matter how bad your English is. But they fall short to figure themselves out because to do that, to figure yourself out, you need to put yourself out there. And coming here might give the illusion to other people that you're a risk taker, but a lot of these girls never step out of the comfort zone. Girl number 4 ended when she blocked me because I'm pretty sure I was flirting with another girl from her language school. Girl number 2 was 30. She was a Disney adult millennial. I took her to the art gallery. I showed her this really, really good donkatsu spot. The date actually went fine. She was really, really into Broadway's and musical, which isn't my cup of tea, but it was nice to meet one of these girls that had some passion in their life and something that they really cared about, not just something superficial. And I blocked her the second she entered her apartment complex. Not because there was anything wrong with her. Hell, maybe if I saw her a few more times, she'd invite me inside. But I had no interest in actually dating her. She seemed like a good enough person that I didn't want to ruin her life with my sweet, empty words. The other girls, I was fine doing that too, though, because I didn't respect them. But her, I did. She seemed like someone with some depth. Then we get to girl number 6. She was the worst one. And the reason I made this video. She was so bad, she changed my life. She was 31 years old. Our first date lasted 5 hours. We went from a coffee shop to this restaurant to the library. And she was born in Australia, so she had this really hot Aussie accent. No,
don't go. But I have to.
And she was really smart and her English was perfect. Which perplexed me as to why she left Korea for 6 months to study English in Canada. We had discussions on economics and life. She had like a hint of negativity when she talked about anything, but I just chalked it up to her playing hard to get. She paid for the $60 meal at the restaurant. I never ever had a woman do that for me before. It's not like she offered, but she was fake offering, hoping for me to pay. No, like she did not let me get up and go to the register. On the way to the library, I made a joke about her being autistic. She kept looking out into space in the middle of conversations. Now I realize she's just a self-centered cunt who can't think about anything but herself. But at the time, I just thought it was a playful joke. She was really offended when I said this to her. Are you calling me fucking... I can't do an Aussie accent, okay? You gotta just imagine Iggy Azalea saying this. Are you calling me fucking retarded, mate? I was shocked when she said this, because she was a kindergarten teacher back in Korea. And autism kind of has like aura nowadays. Maybe that's just a Western thing that hasn't caught up in Korea yet. So we're in the library and I'm whispering to her like, hey, like I'm sorry, here in the West with Gen Z, like people just talk about being autistic, like it's very normal, everyone's on the spectrum, it's not a crazy thing. And I'm saying this and it's not getting to her, right?
You're not getting it, it's not clocking to you.
And I'm like, okay, I clearly ruined this date, whatever. I said sorry to her and I said I'm gonna leave. And as I'm walking away from her in the library, she grabs my backpack and pulls me back in. If you're gonna make me mad, you're gonna stay by my side until I feel better. That was the hottest shit a woman has ever said to me in my life. That shit was hot. I had hard eyes when she said that. That was the most attractive thing a woman has ever said to me in my life. That was hot. God damn. She could have asked me to marry her right there in the spot. I would have said yes. That shit was hot. The second date with girl number 6 was to Toronto Island. If you don't know, it's this huge park we have in Toronto that is really nice, but it takes like at least like 4 or 5 hours to really go around and appreciate it. So I bought some Chipotle, bought her some beers, we took the ferry there and we ate a little picnic there. It was beautiful. It was gorgeous. It was maybe the most perfect day to go to Toronto Island. It couldn't have been more serene, more perfect. And I think if I had taken any other girl there, they would have fallen in love with me, but not this girl. But in the second date, that hint of negativity she had came out in full fucking force. Every single statement that I made about my life was followed with, good for you, mate. And if not, it was some smart ass fucking comment. And then she said to me, you're like a little brother to me. Girl number 6, her real name was... Well, that's her English name at least. Her real name was probably like Soo Jin or Jin Woo or something. I don't know her name or any of these other girls' names, for a matter of fact. And of the 8 dates I went on and the 20 girls I asked out, I thought all that effort was worth it because I finally met this girl. She was leaving Canada in a month to go back to Korea. And I thought, oh great, I'm going to have one great month with her, This girl I connect with, that I can fool around with. And I think behind that facade she's built of her trying to act like she's too negative to be affected by the horrors of life is maybe a really cool, interesting person. Maybe she knew she was too smart to be wasting 6 months of her life in Canada. Maybe she felt like she wasted her 20s away and she carried around that resentment and anger about herself that she just couldn't let go and had to fester upon other people. But see, she knew 5 minutes of talking to me what my intentions were. She told me she was leaving Canada in a month and she agreed to go on 2 dates with me. She knew I was 10 years younger than her. Despite this, she still wasted 2 full days of my life because her life was so boring that wasting my time is okay to her. It's fine, it's justified. And after she friend-zoned me, I had done something that I'd never done with any of these other women. I was honest with her. I want to sleep with you. You know that. Why did you waste 2 days of my time? Why did you make me come all the way out here to see you? Why do you act like such a negative bitch? You act like you're too good to care about anything in life. And she responded to me with like level 1 manipulator statements like, you're crazy, I don't know what you're talking about, it's okay if you don't care about me, no one does. Like, shorty, I'm a prestige level 10 at this, okay? Like, you're not getting this by me. And I took a deep breath and I looked over the skyline of Toronto and I felt all the energy in my body leave. I told her, I can tell you think you're a failure in life. And if you just act like a bitch all the time, you think you can act tougher than the feelings you're trying so desperately to ignore. But everyone can see through the character you're putting on. And she kept fucking going on about, you don't know me, this is just the way I am. And if you don't like me, that's too bad for you. Shut the fuck up. And as she was going off about this tangent, I walked away from her and I stared at the sunset. In the last 10 months, I've been to 4 continents. I saw the sunset in Banff, in Argentina, in Japan, in Korea, and in Italy. But somehow this one felt prettier than all of them. She asked me some stupid question about what I think about her, and I didn't even have the energy to respond to her. I just stared at the sunset. And me not answering her question made her suddenly give me interest. And her whole personality was, look, I don't care about anything. Look, do you see how much I don't care about things? Look, do you see? Do you see? Look how much I'm not caring. Look how much I'm not caring. Do you see how much I don't fucking care? And as we're going back to the ferry, I asked for another girl's Instagram in front of her, just to make her pissed. And as we're on the boat ride there, I'm just looking at her and I'm saying, you're a really beautiful girl. It's too bad you have to act like this. You don't have to be like this. You can change. You can be whoever you want to be. It's not too late. And I wasn't telling her that to sleep with her. I was just telling her that because maybe my wisdom could get through to her. But stubborn and stupid does as stubborn and stupid is. As we get off the port, I sat down on this bench and she went beside me and held my hand. I could tell she didn't want to hold my hand, but she was just doing it to make me stay a little bit longer. But she wanted me to stay a little bit longer because holding the hand of a guy she didn't like was better than being alone with her own thoughts. And then she asked me to a third date. When she asked me out on this third date, I knew immediately she was going to flop on me last minute. I don't know how, but I just knew she was. So Friday 1 p.m. when I'm supposed to be meeting her, I'm on the other side of the city with my friends because I just know she's not going to come up. And holy fuck, call me Nostradamus. She texted me, hey, I'm not feeling so well. So then I sent her a voice message with my location and I said, hey, maybe I do know you better than you know yourself and to have a nice life. She, of course, does a classic move that every fatherless woman does, and that's tell me that she feels better and wants to see me. I wish I didn't delete the rest of this convo, but alas, I did. She called me and texted me and I ignored her until 11 p.m. that night, where I had met up with an old Japanese acquaintance of mine, and I didn't even want to sleep with this girl again. But I wanted to feel bad. So I sent her this text message with this message. Here's a translation of it. I don't even want to say it out loud. And at the moment, sending a text message was the best feeling in the world. She was typing for 30 minutes on WhatsApp before blocking me. But hitting that send button was the biggest rush of dopamine I ever had in my life. I felt like I had won some imaginary battle. But the truth is, in war, there is no winners, only victims. And I tell you guys how bad this woman is because I believe I'm worse than her. She came across the world to hide from her problems. So did girl 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And I'm sure the next 5 Korean MILFs in my area that I was going to ask out anyways. And deep down I knew this. But I wanted to hide something. Let he who without sin cast the first stone. What the fuck do I know about growing up as a woman in Korea? What the fuck do I know about the pressures they feel? What the fuck do I know about their culture? A place where your life worth is judged solely by the company you work for. I took a gap year from school. I made a bunch of money and then spent all that money on 6 vacations in 2 years. And I went on these vacations to find myself, to feel like an adult. They actually moved somewhere, and here I am being the biggest fucking hypocrite in the world. And you know why I went for these women? Because they were just like me. Despite the fact that they're 5, 10 years older than me, and from completely different culture, they were just like me. Lost and trying to find a way. And I feel like a fucking failure. And if I can convince these women that I'm the person I say I am rather than the person I actually am, then maybe, just maybe, I can lie and convince myself too. 2025, this whole year, I haven't felt like myself. I've been drowning in self-pity and sorrow. I tell people I'm someone, but my actions tell a different story. I did things that go completely against the person I want to be. The person I tell people I am. And every time I did that, I'd let myself believe that, oh, it's just a one-time mistake. A one-time thing that I would do 100 fucking times. I need to change, and change is hard. You know what I found easier? Dating older Korean language students. That was my hobby for the last few months. Holy fuck, that sounds really bad out loud. Fuck. And you know what the worst part is? I could never get myself to go all the way with these girls. Because either they were like girl 2, who were actually fine people and they wanted a real relationship, and I couldn't bring myself to waste their time that hard. My moral compass would kick in and I'd get slapped back into reality when I talk to them and I realize, oh, these are real people with real emotions I'm doing this bullshit with. Or they were like girl number 6, shallow, empty, obnoxious girls who I couldn't fucking stand, and as horny as I am, I'm not very good at faking my emotions. The girls could tell behind my smooth talking in the same 6 Korean sentences that I had learned on Duolingo that I did not like them. And maybe they knew that I saw them as nothing more but some luxury commodity instead of people. But these girls I don't like, I'm just as shallow as them. And I realized this after I started flirting with a girl, and I fumbled her because I mistaked her for a girl I'd flirted with last week. I started knowing too much about niche Korean subjects. Bro, I called a girl a finger princess, and she looked at me and she knew I was ran through. I had to delete my old chats from Kakao Talk because it was full of nothing but girls from my past. And if you look like me and you don't know what Kakao Talk is, good. You should not look like me and know what Kakao Talk is, okay? I was a snake eating its own tail. I realized that lust is just a fire that you chase that never actually makes you warm. And the whole time you're chasing it, you're not realizing you're getting frostbite. To the girls I took on these dates, 죄송합니다. To the two girls I was mid-flirting with and are gonna probably see this YouTube video, you got a crazy-ass story to put on your Naver vlog. And to I want to tell you to go fuck yourself. But instead I'm gonna say I forgive you. And I hope you too can forgive me. I will be a better person. But I can't do that if I don't admit my wrongs. If I ignore my past, I'll be doomed to repeat it. The truth will set you free.
In the